Hi everyone, happy South by. Happy South by. It's halfway over. I'm trying to. That doesn't. Does he not have that one on? It should. Okay, that's fine. My name is Jason Freshley. Welcome to the Co-Founder Meetup hosted by the Tech Map here in Austin. And the Tech Map is your social event platform for the startup community, and we are global. A couple quick things. You all found food and beverages. Bathrooms are down the hallway behind the front desk, and neither to the left or the right. These are some of the awesome people helping out with the event, myself included. There's Veronica and Lydia are going to walk around and collect business cards for a raffle. They're standing in the back doorway right now. They're going to head down the aisle. So if you drop your business card in, get a t-shirt at the end. Johan, who started and created all of this, is hiding over here and trying to relax and not be MC. We'll see how that goes. And then Tony and Carla, who, are they here?
No, I don't think so.
Nope, okay. And if you're interested in helping out, volunteering, joining the team, if you know someone in another city that would want to do this, let us know and we'd be glad to chat with them. Upcoming events, you can go to thetechmap.com/events and get a list of all the events going on in and around the Austin area and beyond. Our next Co-Founder Meetup is here, April 11th. Josh Bear is going to be the keynote speaker, and then 5 businesses will be pitching. We're doing something slightly different in May. It's going to be the first Monday, and we're working with CTAN to bring in a panel of angel investors to provide the Q&A for those businesses that pitch in May. So if you're here looking to pitch your business, May might be an awesome opportunity. And then another event happening in May is the Small Business Festival. They're a sponsor partner of the Co-Founder Meetup and the Tech Map, and Johan, you can talk more about that in a minute, because I don't know details about that one. The other ones that are listed, Business Success Center, Dev Bootcamp, and Rackspace. And there's our upcoming keynote speakers. I mentioned Josh and the panel of investors. Tom Singer, Jan, Jason, and Brett are all on the docket. And by the next month, we'll probably have the rest of the year planned out. All right, on to sponsors, sponsorships, partners, and stuff. A couple new things we have going on. If you are interested in being a partner, it would be someone local, myself included. I am the Fresh Idea Group. Golden Hour Media may or may not be here today. They do usually have a video set up. They've done a couple of videos for us for advertising purposes. Our sponsorship levels have changed and updated. They'll be on the website. You can also ask for a copy of those. We have a concept level that we're starting out with. It's $50 a month, and it gives you 30 seconds on the microphone to pitch to the audience. Then we have a startup, established, and global, and they run up from there. So with that, we also have VIP member. A VIP member is $100 for the year and gives you access to all the meetups for the year. So if you actually attend all 12, you win, and if you attend 8, you still win. So we're going to bring up the partners and sponsors, and I think, Monica, come on up with Richard Rodriguez and Ski.
Last name, and last name, right? My name is Monica Layfield, and I'm a business attorney here in Austin. I am with Richards, Rodriguez, and Skeeth, and for the past 10 years, I've been representing entrepreneurs in every phase of the business cycle, from startup, financing, to sale. And the last 10 years has really taught me that the sharing of diverse business ideas and experiences really lends itself to the kind of collaborative entrepreneurial community that Austin has created, and I think that it's wonderful to be a part of and to see all of you here tonight, and I'm happy to be here on behalf of RRS. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Sebastian, you want to come up? Sebastian's one of the concept sponsors, so.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone.
My name is Sebastian Bocher. I'm the
founder at G51. We help non-technical founders launch new SaaS and marketplace businesses. So if you have an idea for the SaaS, that's software as a service, subscription-based business, or marketplace where you have a multi-sided business model, then come talk to me. We have a product building platform. We're more affordable than your traditional web development agency, and we can build your product faster too. So you can reach me at seb@gb.co, or just come talk to me.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you. Was anybody here from Goldner Media before I move on? Real quick, the Fresh Idea Group, myself, marketing consulting, digital marketing agency, helping you acquire your customers and keep them in your bubble. And so I'll also bring up Johan for, I think, the rest of them.
Yeah, thanks guys. So my name is Johan Borch. I've been putting this event since 2010 and beyond now. He's gonna be taking care of the rest, and like he said, we're gonna be expanding to the different cities. And I'll just go over some of the sponsors here. Co-Founder Media usually comes and does the videos for us, but I guess they're too busy with South by Southwest, so they weren't able to make it today. But we do have a camera with Capital Factory, which we're live casting, so it'll be recorded afterwards. Juju Promo makes our cool t-shirts and our hats and stuff, and that's actually my wife's business over there. Small Business Festival. So basically what it is kind of like South by Southwest for small business. It can be tech related. It's going to be anything related to small business startups. So we'll have a bunch of different keynote speakers at that event, and we'll make it really affordable for people to attend, not like South by Southwest for $1,500. But it's going to be an awesome event. We're going to be holding it at Google Fiber. It was about 10 of us putting this together, and we're just trying to bring it. It started in Australia, and they thought the concept started with a week. Now they're actually doing it for the whole month. So we want to do the same thing here in Austin, get it big to get a lot of company startups, either restaurant or construction, whatever that might be, that's for that kind of small business related. Pitch Deals is one of the actual startups that I did that I'm actually on hold off right now. I'm working on the tech map most of the time. And some of the stuff that I'm working on the tech map, I don't know if you guys saw my emails that I've been sending out related to the updates. So this is the website, so you can share just like Facebook and put information like events or anything that you want to promote, like, you know, I'm hiring developers or whatever that might be. And you can connect with individuals as well on here. The other things you can do, and the tech map, of course, is find yourself in the map and, you know, put your company up there. And this is all free, guys, just so you know. And you can just check out who's the service provider, co-working space, angel investor, and which one are hiring. Then the other thing you can do is, we're trying to do is to get away from Meetup. So Meetup has this thing where people put like their first name or just initials and no information if you check on their profile. So we're building kind of like Eventbrite on the tech map. So we're gonna be kind of like LinkedIn with Eventbrite mix, where we'll have all the events and people can connect with others based on their profile and who RSVP. You can see who's coming. For instance, you know, you see his profile's information. So it's good to have a picture so people can relate to you and connect with you at the events that we have. And we'll open this up in the future. Right now, I think it is open, but anybody that runs an event, we're having a platform, to be shared to be able to use this for free. If you're charging, we're charging you $1 for one event, and that's pretty cheap compared to what Meetup and also Eventbrite charges. I think Eventbrite is 2.5% plus 99 cents per ticket. We're just charging $1 just to make it directly payable to PayPal. So we're working on getting that out and going, and hopefully people can start using our platform while we'll, you know, start developing more stuff into it and make it better. And then I guess I'm going back to you, Jason.
Johan, when is the Small Business Festival?
May 3rd starts. Yeah.
All right, so tonight we have our keynote, Rudy, coming up here in just a second. Then we have 5 businesses. If you grabbed a flyer, they're listed on that flyer. You'll get 4 minutes of Q&A to come back. If you're speaking or presenting, I'll be sitting up front and I will give you little reminder cue cards so you don't go over. And then after we finish up, the space is ours until 9 o'clock. Thank you, Capital Factory. At 9 o'clock, we will kick you out, and we will be slightly obnoxious about kicking you out. But go downstairs to the bar and have a cocktail. So with that, here is the list of companies pitching, and we'll get to all of them as the time goes out. Oh, thanks for passing this out.
One of the things that Jason forgot to mention was please pick up your trash, so that way you can get networking more.
And we'll go ahead and get started with Rudy. Did it come up on the screen? If the technology would work, right? We'll pull his up. You got it? I think so.
So Rudy Garza.
Awesome. Good evening, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here, and hope everybody's enjoyed their South by past week or so. I think it's been pretty exhilarating for me to be able to walk around and take in the sessions, and then also have the chance to get up close and personal with CEOs from very large publicly traded companies. It's interesting to see the growth of what's happening in Austin and our tech scene here, because even just 3 years ago when you came to South by, there were not as many publicly traded companies that had their CEOs coming and being in attendance. So it's been really exciting to see the difference in even 1 year, year over year, for the good things that are happening at South by. So I'm going to jump in and talk a little bit about G51 and sort of the path we've been on and some of the things that we're doing. But before I do that, I want to find out a little bit, who is in a startup right now? Raise your hand. Okay. And who's a founder looking for other partners right now? Do we have any? Okay, awesome. And where are the investors in the room? There you go. Okay, all right. So now, hopefully I've already added a little value for you guys that are looking for money, okay? And that's kind of what we really love to do, is to try to add value for people and help the ecosystem along. So what we're doing at G51, the way we got started was back in 1996, I decided I wanted to become a venture capitalist. So we took some personal capital and just started investing in early stage companies. And we would start with, maybe $50,000 and grow to $100,000, and then so on and so forth. And eventually we decided to raise a fund, which we did. And, fast forward to today, we've had 4 funds. Typically we were investing sort of $250,000 to $500,000 per investment. But then back in 2001, the dean of the UT Business School comes to us and says, hey, would you be willing to take some graduate students and teach them about venture capital? So we said, okay, it's it's a little bit of a pain, but we'll do it. And so we took our first interns at that point. And then one of our investors was a co-founder at Perot Systems and got his MBA at Baylor University. And so I said, Rudy, it's really great what you're doing at UT. Would you do that at Baylor? It's like, oh, yeah, okay, well, I got to build a cloud-based system and, let the students log in, and it's got to be secure. But give me 9 months and we'll turn Baylor on. So we turned Baylor on. And it just sort of kept growing. We had a CEO from Duke, and he helped us turn on Duke. And then fast forward to today, we have 17 different MBA programs that we work with, and we take between 1 and 4 students from these different schools. And so this semester we have, I think, a little over 30 students. Well, what started happening is, we started, kind of outrunning our punt coverage, and we were seeing way more companies than we could ever hope to invest in. And I'm kind of one of those guys that, if I see something that's really exciting, I want to help you. And so instead of just writing a couple of checks a year, maybe a couple of follow-on checks a year, we started thinking, what could we do for the ecosystem that could turn 2 or 4 checks into 20 checks or 50 checks or 100 checks? And that was the genesis of G51 Amplify, which is what we're doing today. So, oh, okay. Hang on. Yeah. So the biggest challenge we see for American enterprise is keeping up with the pace of acceleration for new innovative companies and products. And there's a real open opportunity, we feel, to be able to help our publicly traded companies do a better job of finding early stage companies, engaging with those companies, and being able to adopt their technology, invest in them, acquire, do partnerships, and just kind of overall a lot of goodness. We think that part of the solution to the Series A overhang is in the pockets of the enterprise. And if we can help open up that enterprise wallet for all the startups and earlier stage companies, then we think maybe we'll create a lot more jobs and spur a lot more innovation than what's been happening in the past. So that's part of our mission, is to basically leverage the different universities and the networks that we have to enable large-scale enterprises to find you guys that are doing the best and brightest work and engage with you sooner and deploy capital sooner or acquire your company. So there's basically 2 pieces, when it comes to trying to really know what's happening in the market. And the way we break it down is intelligence and tactics. Intelligence is sort of knowing what's happening in the horizon in the different technology stacks and innovation areas. And then the tactics are being able to keep up with all those developments and know what's happening. As we all know in this room, when you meet an investor, just because you meet that investor doesn't mean you're ready to take their money. And often, when investors are just getting into the investing business, they don't have much deal flow. They don't know where to get started, and they don't know how to get into the mainstream of the opportunities that are just floating around Austin and Texas and the rest of the United States. And you can even apply that internationally as well. So what we do is we leverage, the opportunities with corporations, we tie in with the universities, and then we do all that to try to be helpful to the startup ecosystem that's happening in Texas and elsewhere. We have a great team. Will the G team, y'all raise your hand for a second. So we've got David Wynn, Ed Valdez, and Daniel Gonzalez here tonight. So if you can't catch me for a quick visit, feel free to grab them. And Daniel's wife, Chelsea's here too, and she knows a little bit about what we're doing as well. So feel free to grab any of us and visit a little bit. But we also have some great advisors. So I have this sort of crazy knack of sitting down to really next door to really interesting people. And so I was at a venture capital conference in San Francisco, and there was this white-haired guy, and so I sat down next to him, and he looks at me and he goes, Rudy Garza, I reinvent myself every 10 years, and I'm going meta on innovation. And Austin is one of the 2 places I might live for the next 10 years if I can get involved with the University of Texas. And I looked back at him and I said, well, you don't know this, but I'm currently the president of the Texas Exodus Alumni Association, and I might be the one guy that can make that happen. And so about 4 months later, Bob Metcalf became our professor of innovation through the University of Texas Engineering School. And so Bob is one of our advisors. We also have Stefano Concesi. He's just an amazing man, travels the world looking at next generation technologies, deep science, deep physics, the kinds of things that you don't normally think about, because when you're driving that driverless car, you're probably not scratching your head going, okay, so if my car senses something in front of me, how fast does it have to talk to the computer system in the car that's going to send a message to the brake to actually apply the brake so I don't run into that? And how fast do those things have to communicate? And so Stefano travels around the world looking at all this deep science and great physics kinds of things, and helps us understand sort of where the puck is going so that we can try to be in the right places at the right time. I won't go into a whole lot of detail, but I'll mention Bill Kennedy and Ed. So I kind of represent the venture capital stool of G51. So, you know, we've been involved in syndications with blue chip venture capital groups from across the country, names like Kleiner Perkins and Bain and Polaris and NEA and IVP, Intel, HP, Dell, so on and so forth. So we've had a great opportunity to learn an awful lot about what it takes to attract capital and get involved with these great companies. Bill Kennedy, which a lot of you may know, Bill is a repeat entrepreneur. You know, it's about 6 times over, venture-backed, sold his company to large enterprise groups, and I had the opportunity to work with him at one of our companies, and really just appreciated his ethics, his moral values, and decided if I was going to, you know, pull together a team, who would I want? And Bill was one of those kinds of guys. The other guy that's just the same is Ed Valdez, and Ed represents our enterprise perspective. And Ed's here tonight. He's had multiple large enterprise corporate jobs that he's done, where he's done amazing things. Launched the Motorola Razr a while back, and ended up at Sun, and then ended up with one of the first drone companies called Parrot Systems out of France, and was part of the IPO team that took them public. So those are sort of the 3 legs of the G51 stool, and why we think we can be helpful for early stage companies or groups that have private equity opportunities. So I'm not going to go into all these. I'm just going to sort of gaze over them. But the bottom line is, with the manpower and the networks that we've got, we're able to ingest a massive amount of deal flow and actually spend time trying to understand what people are doing with their business, what they want to accomplish, what do their economics look like, what's their go-to-market look like. And when you see hundreds and thousands of companies year in, year out, you sort of develop some interesting pattern recognition for how you might be able to advise early stage companies or even later stage companies in one aspect or another of their business. So we have an absolute blast looking at all these companies. We have a wonderful time helping people and guiding them in one direction or another to see if we can't make kind of a magnificent impact on their business through the networks that we've got. If you look at this talks a little bit about sort of the different areas and how we can help the different companies that we get involved with. If we look at a company and we see a structural opportunity to share with you, a structural adjustment, we'll just sit down and tell you about it and tell you what we think. We do not get compensated on transactions. We get compensated for the research we do to help these enterprise companies find great companies. So we can be honest brokers with the startup companies as well as the enterprise groups that we're working with. And it's, you know, startups are hard, and it's nice to get good advice and help when you can. And when I have 30 or 40 really smart graduate students helping us, we can sort of leverage these folks to help us help you. So different areas, we can refer you to incubators and accelerators. We might know a great mentor for you to connect with. Some of the venture capital investors that we've worked with in the past, you might be a great fit for them, and or you might be a really strategic, great partner to match up with some of the clients that we're working with. So this is how we do what we do. We've got to connect with you guys. You share your information. We've got a cloud-based platform. It's free. It's easy to sign up. Daniel's actually the guy that did all the coding, the work behind it. So if you have any questions, ask him. And you know, we make it easy to plug in and become part of the network that we're pushing. Once you're into the system, we'll have a team that sits down and specifically looks at your company. We'll score your company. We'll rank your company. We'll come up with, you know, areas of strength, areas of weakness, and then we'll try to help in one way or another. The last part is, you know, we'll try to collaborate with you and find really value-added partners that would make a difference, you know, hopefully a magnificent difference in the progress of your business that you're pushing. And I think that's about it for the slides. If I was going to add anything else, I think it would be just to encourage everybody here that you're in a good place, you're in a safe place, you're in a environment that's going to continue to grow in very exciting ways the next 5 to 10 years, and you know, it's just a wonderful time to be alive in Austin, Texas, and be part of this whole program. So I appreciate the opportunity to visit with you guys, and if anybody has questions, we can open it up.
Question?
I have a question. What does G51 stand for?
No. Okay, so 1929, my grandfather was a rancher down in South Texas. Heard about a cattle strain called the Zebu cattle strain in Brazil, and decides to, you know, go get some cattle. So he goes down to Brazil, ships them to Mexico, drives them from Mexico to the Texas border. Of course, the Hereford ranchers catch wind of this, and they're worried about hoof and mouth disease and everything else. So he is not. There's not a welcome wagon at the border when he shows up. So he ends up having to quarantine. You know, in 1929, 1930 was kind of a tough time to be able to do that, but he persevered, and he introduced the Zebu, which is like a Brahma cattle strain, into Texas. And so he lived to be 92 years old and was smoking and drinking scotch, you know, till the bitter end. So he was an amazing guy, and the lot number of the cattle that he bought was 51, and his last name was Garcia. So I thought that was a fitting tribute to. He's the earliest entrepreneur that I ever knew. So, other questions? Well, so if you're a startup, the engagement is, if you have a pitch deck, you send us an executive summary and a pitch deck or a video or what have you. Give us 2 to 3 weeks. We'll do a review, and then we'll circle back and share some feedback and input on, you know, how we look at your business. What are some of the strengths and weaknesses? If it gets to the next level, then we'll bring you in, and you know, if you're out of state or out of country, we'll do a conference. Pretty much all that we do is virtual, and so then we'll try to understand your business in a deeper sense. In either case, we'll look at what you're doing, and we'll say, okay, you know, we think you've got an opportunity to improve your chances if you consider XYZ. And by the way, meet Mr. X and see what you guys can get going. And you know, we've kind of always operated on this pay it forward basis, and so it comes pretty natural to us to just wanna help people do better. And so that's kind of the engagement from the startup side. From the enterprise side, it's pretty much, hey, you know, we're interested in this sector and these 2 themes within that sector, and we don't have the manpower to really do a great job of digging through Axial, Mattermark, Y Combinator, Capital Factory, Techstars, you know, you name it, and aggregating not just a list of 200 companies, but what are really the top 50 companies, the top 20 companies. and when would be a great time to engage with those companies for making an investment or setting up a strategic partnership or becoming part of their distribution channel or any of those kinds of things. So that's the basic engagement setup.
So follow-up
Oh.
question. What are your qualifying criteria for your startup that you want to respond to?
Oh, we'll look at any startup. Never too early. We'll look at any startup, and we're happy to help.
Thank you.
So you're a .com, not a .org. So I assume you're somehow making some money out of this. Are you trading capital and mentoring in exchange for equity for the startups? And are you also taking money from the enterprise side, or how do you?
No,
How do you get paid?
It's completely free for the startups. We charge the enterprise. The enterprise is who has the money, both for doing the research and for investing in the startups. The missing link is, they just hadn't had the manpower to look at earlier stage private equity opportunities because, a $10 billion company, they need their VP of biz dev and their corporate VCs, they need to move the needle with sort of $50 and $100 million kinds of opportunities. And our early stage private equity opportunities, they need to grow and they need to get nurtured a little bit, but they don't have the teams to do that. So we're able to have a pretty virtuous cycle of helping educate the next generation of business leaders across the United States. And by the way, we have 200 alumni that have gone through our program. Bill Ott over there, raise your hand over there. There you go. He was one of our standout students that went through the program, so you can ask him sort of a little bit about what his experience was like. But we're getting to educate great people. We get to help great startups, and at the same time, just maybe we'll get to help our enterprise friends deploy 20, 50, 100, $500 million over the next, 5 or 10 years or so. Other questions?
Rudy, I just had a quick comment. Just if you choose to submit your startup information on our site, just a quick qualifier is that at a minimum we need your investor pitch deck. And if there's something missing out of it, we'll let you know. But that's what we're looking for.
There was a question up here, I think.
Yeah, I guess the question I had was, you said that you look at any startup, so your team is highly technical as far as their background, so it doesn't matter the type of the technology that the startup is working on?
Not in particular. I've got a really brilliant, 30 brilliant young men and women, and the average experience of these venture scholars is 3 to 10 years experience, and inevitably we'll have at least 1 or 2 or 3 PhDs in computational genomics or electrical engineering or one thing or another. But I handpick each cohort, so I'm looking for a diversity of opinions to help offset our natural investment biases. So, we'll look at people that, we also typically have 1 or 2 attorneys, maybe that have, been in the IP space and now they're going back and getting their MBA. So we really try to get a broad, diverse range so that we can have people with some great psychology perspectives, social impact perspectives, finance, accounting, marketing, deep tech and science. So we're really sector agnostic when it comes to the types of things we can look at. We're even looking at some, not a lot, but some consumer CPG kinds of companies as well.
Would you say that there are any specific industries that you have more experience in than others?
Yeah, general tech, for sure.
Any other questions?
Haley, I was waiting for one of your questions.
So, what is it like?
So Haley is the daughter of someone I went to high school with.
So what is it like to be a student in that program? I mean, you mentioned research, but I guess is it researching all the
Yep.
different startups and the Y Combinator, the Techstars? Is that all that they do, and kind of where do they go? What do the graduates do from there?
Oh, great question. Thank you. So as soon as you're accepted in the UT MBA program, which should be what, like 18 months from now, maybe? Tomorrow. Okay, even better. You would apply to the Venture Fellows program, which they usually have about 50 or 60 people apply. And out of that 50 or 60, they may pick 10 or 15. Now the 10 or 15 will probably pick one or two to participate in the program. So once you go through that process, and you're in the program, we're going to give you, 1 to 4 companies, and you're going to dive into those companies. You're going to do due diligence review, and then every 2 to 3 weeks, we're going to have what we call a shark review. And in the shark review, you get 3 minutes to tell us the team, the product, the market, the economics, the funding prior roadmap, the future funding roadmap, what you think is most important about that company, why you like it, why you don't. And we have a scoring matrix that you'll follow, and you'll score the company on different elements. And then at the end of those 3 minutes, then the cohort and the professionals get to ask you questions of why you scored it a certain way, what tilted you one way or another. And then the last piece that we do before we close out the discussion on any company is what is the plan of action? Are we going to refer them to somebody? Are they just too early? They need to be baked a little bit more. Do we want to introduce them to an incubator? Do we send them to Josh? Depending on where they're located geographically, maybe we send them to Techstars here, or a different group in another part of the country. So we really try to be helpful to all the companies, and sometimes that'll fall back on to the students to follow through and make the connection. If they're if you're at Harvard, MIT, Boston College, Babson, or Boston University, and you're one of our team members, and you have a connection to one of the local incubators, then we'll say connect these guys with that local incubator where you have the network.
Do you guys have like an API, or how do you refer somebody to Capital Factory or to Techstar? I mean, how do they get that data from your system when they fill out the form and stuff?
That's a great question. We don't have an API. We haven't gotten that far along. So it's really just hey Josh, meet David, and David meet Josh, and you guys connect. I think they'd be great for your program, and we've looked at them, we talked to them, good people, interesting opportunity, see what you guys can make happen. And then it's up to the startup or the company to sell the rest, right?
Thank you.
All right, thank y'all.
We do have a bunch of chairs back here. If you guys want to come down here and sit down, they're definitely ready for you. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
For our first pitch, we have Next.io, James.
I think so. Do they need to do anything else?
I think this PDF, so it's not gonna. You just have to click through it.
Full screen.
You should just be able to hit it. It might work on that as well. And then it's up there too.
Hi, my name's James Davison. I'm one of the co-founders of Next.io. Next.io allows you to discover the patterns of success within sales. But really, we're a proven product team. Myself, I have 10 years of background in product management. My co-founder is application architect, has stood up multiple technical stacks. We're now a team of 6. We just brought on our VP of services today, actually. And we left money on the table to come do this. In fact, kind of a lot of money. It's a little scary. So the easy way to describe what we do is Moneyball for enterprise sales. Not everyone in the room has seen the movie, so I'll give you a little bit of background. A guy named Michael Lewis came up with this way of analyzing baseball teams to discover what were the actual things that drove success on the field. How do you put the right team in play? And the things that were traditionally used to make those decisions ended up being very poor metrics. And so the Oakland A's ended up winning, or actually losing and then later winning national championships, even though they spent vastly less money than all the rest of the people putting teams in the field. We think enterprise sales is very similar. When you think about the data in your CRM, right, it's a very poor metric for where a deal actually is. And I'll give you a couple extreme examples of this. One of the clients that we're working with effectively fired a salesperson. He didn't close any deals in the quarter, the current quarter that they fired him. And they were so concerned, they were like, what went wrong? So they actually went back and logged into his email to figure out why. Turns out he hadn't sent any emails. And you're not gonna win any deals if you don't send any emails. Another kind of extreme example, we've got one of the salespeople that we're working with was handed a deal. And if you're familiar with Salesforce, 70% is an extremely high chance to close. You're very far down the sales cycle. And so, you know, the previous rep had gotten transferred to another deal. He gets handed this deal, 70%, great, I'm gonna make some money. Except there was no proposal. In fact, there was no NDA. There was none of the pieces of a deal that you would expect to be able to close were actually in place. So the CRM was wrong. From the rep's perspective, right, how do you get into those kinds of situations? And, you know, maybe the guy who didn't send any emails, throw that guy away, whatever. The rep has too much data. And this is true for everyone, and we'll get into that in a little bit, but you get hundreds of emails a day. You have to update 60 Salesforce records a day. You visit 100 different websites a day, 5 phone calls, you know, you go down the list. An overwhelming amount of information is sent to you every day. And even if you absorb and respond to 99% of it, that 1% you're leaving out, well, that's money on the table. And who actually gets to 99% of all the information? I think it's not humanly possible. So our fundamental belief is that there are patterns of success that you can identify from people's actions. If you look at how people are successful, what do they do that moves deals? How do they actually get an opportunity from the very beginning to the very end? You can identify patterns of success. There are things that work and things that don't work. This is another good story. So in Anna Karenina, you know, one of the messages was, every happy family is the same. Every unhappy family is different. And if you've been on a sales call, you would know that's, you know, just kind of inherently true. When you get on the calls, all the calls that you were successful on, well, that was you running your process successfully and basically executing perfectly. And all the deals that go wrong, right, those are the deals that fall over. They're all different. So what we do is we reinforce the patterns of success. We identify those things that work, and we give visibility not just to the sales rep on how they can be more successful, but visibility to the executive team so that they can know when things are going wrong, when things are getting dropped. And we're more than just sales, right? We're starting with sales, but if you think about it, there's no reason that you couldn't apply these same principles to account management, to engineering. You know, really the sky's the limit So we're gonna march down the different silos. We're gonna bring a bunch of data together and basically solve this problem. We're currently raising a $750,000 seed round. And I think the ask here is, if you have a background in sales ops, we'd like to talk to you. VP of Sales, Sales Ops.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Thank you.
Questions?
I wasn't that good, guys. Come on.
Where you at with your product? Where you, so a company hires you, they give you access to all their emails and systems and, you know, and you're pulling data from.
Yeah, so I'll tell you how we got to where we are. We actually started building an enterprise sales product, and we built some pretty crazy technology, and it turns out nobody buys technology, so take notes, you know. We started a beta, and at the end of the beta, the only people still using the product were salespeople. And so we went back and figured out why, and it turns out that there's too much data, too many different things to keep track of. But the fundamental technology we built is enterprise search. So we already have the technology to integrate with email, Salesforce, and web, as well as desktop. So we can literally bring every single piece of information that bears on a deal, put it in one place, and run analytics on it.
So you're lays over all these other things they're already doing?
That's right. Yeah, we don't actually, that's one of the big differences between us and a lot of other solutions that do similar things, is that they require you to remove a piece of technology and replace it with theirs that's supposedly smarter. What we do is we overlay all the existing technology in place and make, you know, previously stupid things smart, or smarter things smarter, or smart things smarter.
You talk a little bit about your analytics?
Yeah, so we've done kind of two interesting things with our analytics. So first, we're built on Elasticsearch, which is the most popular search and analytics platform in the industry. Second, I've got a really smart co-founder, and he'd explained it a little bit better, but we took machine learning algorithms and effectively broke them into two parts. First, we pre-calculate metadata to basically figure out what's important, and then we do dynamic calculations on runtime to generate a set of results. So the analytics are built on the Elasticsearch aggregations along with our custom.
Talk about the reports, I mean, what data are you looking at?
So we're looking at Salesforce data, and actually, so what we're doing is we're comparing Salesforce to reality. So that's the biggest value that we provide, is for the rep and for the executive team, is here's reality, email, web data, desktop applications, whatever, and then here's what's in Salesforce, and the differences are interesting.
So I'm actually on a team right now that we have just spent thousands of dollars to implement Salesforce.
Okay.
I'm on the sales team that's learning how to implement this new database that they're building. And as I'm thinking about, like, how can I pitch this to the executive team to spend more money to, you know, they're not getting the reporting they want, is the reality. Since
Yeah.
December when they implemented to now, they gotta make some changes. So that being said, and I'm experiencing that validating exactly what you're saying is that what I'm allowed to put in and what I'm having to update is not adequate information about the deals that I'm currently in progress with. So validate
That's good.
assumptions on that. That all being said, so I think I'm too, like, if I'm gonna pitch this to my company, am I too early? Are you looking to companies that are more established in their Salesforce program, or are you looking to people that are evaluating whether you use Salesforce, or should they maybe use you?
Oh, I mean, we're a startup, we're a real cheap date, but yeah, so like, I mean, you know, I'll do the name drop thing. So we've got a pilot at CBRE, we've got a pilot at GE, SailPoint, Lithium, we've got another 20 companies. Like, we've got experience doing this kind of thing. My background is enterprise security, actually. So SailPoint Technologies, myself and my co-founder, we built a cloud-based security product. And we realized that, security products are all building a context. You collect all this data and then decide all the things that people can't do. And we're like, okay, great, let's take this and apply it to the powers of good and, make people better. So we'd be happy to work with you. I think it'd be fun.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Garash. Did I say that right? It's Garish. Garish.
Yeah, that's good. Can everybody hear me? Yes. My name is Girish, and just to give you a quick intro, I moved to Austin about 2 years back. Great city, actually, so enjoying it very much. What I'm here to do today is we are presenting ABG Insights. It's a product from our firm. So we help companies in the B2B space with account-based marketing and sales growth. So what problem do we solve? We help companies transform and focus their efforts of marketing on their key strategic accounts. We make sure you focus your budgets on your key accounts rather than spend it across the board. In B2B sales, relationships are key, and the key concept here is most of the B2B decisions are made by a set of group of representatives and an individual. So we target how you can market to that set of individuals effectively. So we have two solutions that we have built on top of the Salesforce platform, and we integrate with multiple other platforms, and we are already live. So the first one is a lead valve, which helps align sales and marketing efforts into target companies. And the second one is Social Hire, which is more of an applicant tracking system. And we also help build a targeted sales team that based on who you want to sell to. For example, if you want to sell into Cisco's or Junipers of the world, we kind of help build a sales team specifically for that. So just to give you a quick overview of the market opportunity, the B2B market space is over 20 billion, right? Only 20% of the B2B companies have account-based marketing in place, but 90% of the companies have realized the value of it and they're actively looking at it. I think we are in a great space. So the strategic relationships that we have in play, we are in Salesforce App Store already released. We are in Marketo App Store and Chrome Store, and also in Oracle Sales Cloud. So I'm just going to try to quickly jump in and do a quick demo.
Yeah, and then you can use that one too if it helps.
Oh. So here I'm giving a demo of the Chrome plugin that we have. What we are going to walk you through is, let us say, as a company, you want to pick the key accounts that you want to market towards. So I can go into, for example, LinkedIn here, and I can go ahead and search for. So here I'm going to say, let us say I want to. Having trouble. If I want to add a filter saying I want to look at companies in Austin, Texas area, I can go ahead and add that filter. So here what we are doing is, in an account-based methodology, I'm going to go ahead and identify the key accounts that I want to go after, and I can filter it. Well, I'll just go ahead and pick San Francisco Bay Area just for the demo purpose. And I can go ahead and add things like, or I want to only go after companies that have certain employee size. And once I do that, I can select all of them and do an extract. And you can do the same process also for the people. Like if you know these are the key accounts of people that you want to pull out, and then push that data into the CRM systems. Here I also have an example of an extract of the companies that I pulled out. So first piece is you want to pull out which accounts that you want to go after, and then go market after that. And then we do have a solution that sits on top of Salesforce.com that helps you with a lot of the
other Chrome.
lot of the reporting and things. So here I'm showing a sample report, which kind of shows which are your top 10 active accounts within Salesforce. We do have an app on top of Salesforce also that helps you market actively towards the key accounts that you have identified in the first piece. So how do I switch back?
Switch back to what? To the screen?
Yeah.
To this?
Yeah. So the current status is we have about 18 paid customers using the product. And currently we are in the process of building a team. We have the engineering team kind of built, and also the product team is already built. So we are trying to bring in a VP of sales / marketing. That is one of the key things that we are looking to do. And we are also looking to do a round of fundraising. And at some point we would also like to bring in a CEO. Those are the positions that we are looking at. Any questions?
Question?
Yeah, so, wait, go ahead, Sebastian.
Yes.
So, quick question, what led you to implement that extraction mechanism as a Chrome plugin versus maybe integrating with LinkedIn API, and is the Chrome plugin able to maybe extract from other sources, or was it a way around the LinkedIn API? Could you share something?
So with LinkedIn, it's very tough to partner with LinkedIn. I think that is part of the reason. So that was one of the best ways when we did look into the APIs actually, and they do change the APIs quite a bit, quite often. Mm-hmm. So that is one reason we ended up going with this approach actually. So does that answer your question? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
you said it was a plugin for Chromium. Is that really what your product is, or is that something?
So there's multiple versions. Technology-wise, there's multiple pieces to it. So we do have the first piece that is, you want to identify your key accounts that you want to market towards. So that you identify using the Chrome plugin and that solution that I showed you. And then we have other pieces that sit on top of Salesforce, which enables you to look at, for example, how many emails that you send to a particular account, right? Like which accounts are very active. Like you want to make sure you are engaging your key accounts effectively. As a VP of sales, we let you go into Salesforce and look at it. Oh, what are the top accounts that we are having activities? And you just want to make sure you are going after these top customers in the B2B space that you focus on, right? So traditionally what people used to do is they would just do a lot of blast marketing across the board, but we are saying you want to focus on your key customers, right? If you are a startup and you want to first identify, the top 10 customers you want to go after, and you want to narrow your focus down into that. So we help you with that solution. So technology has one piece of Chrome, and then the second piece sits on top of Salesforce, and then we also do have a mobile piece that is coming out later on. Actually, that is, that's not there yet.
So to understand your product, you look up at the companies first, you pull out their data,
Yeah.
then you find out who is the key individual so you can contact to probably sell your product to or get inside the business.
That is correct, actually.
And you're getting the data from LinkedIn.
So we get that initial data from LinkedIn, and then we also help manage that data within Salesforce once it is inside, right? Some people, some people might have already had the data, like already in Salesforce. Then our Salesforce plugin on top of that lets you manage that data as well.
Last question.
Can you get down to the skill level of a person, like a Linux administrator? Can you get to that level?
So yeah, you can search for Linux administrator and pull that level and then push that data across. So another thing I mentioned is, if you guys are, in your example, if you guys are target market you want to go after, we have a team and a solution that make sure that you build a team that can help you go after that target companies.
What is your target market for this? So, I mean, if you're sitting on top of Salesforce, it has to be a company that's going to be able to afford Salesforce. So, are you mid-size, enterprise? What is your?
So the target market is mostly B2B companies, and it is our ideal target customers is somebody who has already implemented Salesforce, right? So that would be the first space that we are going after. But as a methodology, the same methodology applies across the board. So we went after Salesforce because they're the number one in the CRM space, right? So that's kind of the biggest market share.
But it sounds to me like you guys should work together because you can get the sales and he can make the people sell it better, right?
No, I think we already connected. I think he also has a pretty interesting play, actually.
Cool, thank you.
Next up, we have Mezzy Culture. Where did she go? Oh,
Yeah.
you're ready.
Yeah. Yeah, you can use the arrows or you can use the clicker if you want.
Cool. Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Baden Kwasny, and I'm the founder of Meze Culture. Word meze means to taste or to try or to sample. And it's a cultural activity platform for discovering cultures in your own backyard. So what I'm doing right now is I'm building a community, a social community of cultural enthusiasts. Eventually it will be a marketplace, but right now focused on building the community part for discovering different cultures, learning about different countries through local business activities. So it's reimagining your restaurant, your musician, your theater, your gallery, and so forth, and using that as ways to learn about the world as opposed to reading about it in a guidebook, because the market's moving to more immersive travel experiences. But the issue is you're still reading the book before you go over there to the different, when you're traveling, to go out with your guide or whoever it is. So we're putting that in the hands of the local businesses to act as the hosts to those experiences, and helping to overcome those travel barriers, whether it's knowledge or time or the hassle of travel, and we do that through our rewards partners, travel reward partners. So basically, if we look at the travel industry, kind of like I said, when you think about travel, it's an outbound activity. It's you're going somewhere, and so we're putting that conversation and that discovery, where you are. And so it's actually, I don't know how many people, if you want to raise your hand, how many people have traveled abroad? I love it. I love it. You might be surprised then to find that only 50% of the country has passports.
And so that's kind of who I'm going after, is trying to encourage people who have not traveled to get to know the different cultures, and then utilizing ambassadors and bloggers, people who write about travel and cultures as ways to inspire those that have not traveled. And so also using the over 800,000 businesses, leveraging them, hopefully, as ways to inspire travel. I had to put this slide in there, but that's a little bit about me. So I'm a first-generation American, love to learn about different things, and I've experienced a lot, and I kind of want to spread the love, really, and learn more. So this is really a learning experience for me as well, especially working with the local businesses here in Austin. And there's a few other cities that we're growing the community in. Got ambassadors in New York and DC and Houston as of right now. And so, I knew it was gonna cut off. All right, so this is how we do it, right? So it's taking the tourism categories that you're gonna read about or experience abroad and bringing them here locally. So it's food, drink, music, and the arts, different ways to experience culture, different ways that culture is expressed, right? And allowing those to be expressed through local experiences, whether it's a meal at a restaurant or a tasting or a tour of the kitchen, or how to cook a dish, or taking a class, a lesson, and allowing the local businesses to act as the hosts. And then those experiences are bookable in durations, whether that's 1 day or certain days, or you can walk in any time and say, hey, I want to learn how to make risotto. I love to eat it, but I want to learn how to make it before I go to Italy, And so, and then we use the ambassadors, our bloggers, our writers, our leaders in different cities to validate those, whether it's through a review. Yeah. Oh, thank you. And then we reward by affinity. So if you tend towards, a certain culture, you'll receive rewards, travel rewards according to that. And this is kind of in a nutshell our growth cities, of course, here in Austin. And I'm really, as far as looking for, I know it's cut off, but I'm just looking to, talk with people, whoever's interested, whether it's a potential partner, potential co-founder, investor. It'd be great, to talk and just kind of see, just learn. It's kind of my first venture, and I love what I do, and I'm excited to share it. And check out the website for some activities if you want to get out there too. And that's it.
Thank you. Questions?
So, what is the website?
Oh, it was on the first slide. So it's mezzeculture.com, MEZZECULTURE.com. I have cards too, so you can just see me after. Yes.
Yeah, what is your unique value proposition, and defensible competitive advantage? What is it that you're doing that no one else is doing? And
Yeah.
How can others not replicate what you're doing?
Right, exactly. So when it comes to, different ways to consume culture, or culture expressed through food and drink, you can go out there and buy a deal on Groupon, or you can go out there and read Yelp for reviews, or you can walk by a place and say it looks great. The ambiance is what pulls you in. But right now, there isn't anything that is focused on elevating the cultural aspect unless it comes from within. And so that is what it's about, drawing that out of the business and elevating it so that people walk into it with that mindset. Yes.
Can you talk a little bit more about the affinity rewards and how you see that working?
Yeah. So if you think about it, you earn airline miles and hotel points and all these things for what you buy. So why not, when you go out, dining or to a concert, the way that I target is based on affinity. So when my users book a certain activity, I target based on the culture and the activity itself, so the category. And then I use that to pull in offers from my affiliate partners. Right now I'm working with affiliate partners, but eventually it'll be more, direct partnerships. And then rewarding the users through gadgets and discounts and airline points and different things like that. And so that's what helps to take away or remove the travel barriers, the time, the cost, the hassle. The knowledge part is what the activities are about. Does that answer your question? Yes.
The content that's available on your website, how much of it is curated from other sources versus
Yeah.
generated by your community?
Yes.
What do you envision? I guess you only have 106 subscribers.
Yeah.
How
So
many people are contributing to the community?
right. So as of right now, and actually that's through word of mouth. This is my first public announcement of this site. Right now, the ambassadors, the writers I'm working with, the contributors, I'm working with bloggers and allowing them to repurpose their content. So if they're writing about a review, it's actually taking that and allowing them to use the platform to extend their reach and reach actual travel enthusiasts with that content as opposed to horizontally across their city. Yeah.
Is the 12% service fee per booking, how does that work, and if you're already making revenue on that? Is that implemented already?
Yeah, it is. And I'm working with, I've got 5 customers, or I should say businesses, right now that I'm working with. And so if you think about that, it's kind of like giving a group discount or a commission to the platform for bringing in the customer. So a percentage of that, a 10%, discount is pretty standard. When you take into account, food costs or, what have you, or a promoter. It's a pretty standard thing, and then, of course, the additional 2% is merchant fees.
Last question.
Yeah.
Just as a use case, so for example, if I'm interested in Ethiopian culture and I live in Austin, what do we hope to gather with your platform?
You would be able to see how you can experience Ethiopian culture through food and drink and entertainment activities in Austin. And that would be through the local businesses or through a musician. So as opposed to, the business or the restaurant could be putting up a Yelp deal or using Eventbrite. But again, those are all very horizontal platforms. They're still having to pay for promotion. Or they're Groupon, for example, or Yelp, or, I could go on. Not just being horizontal, but it's also the percentage of their margin that they're having to give up to be able to bring in that customer. And it may not be for the affinity that this is based on. It could be, a good deal or something.
Thank you. Oh,
Yes.
we gotta.
Have you thought about doing maybe like a local meetup for everyone to get together from those like-minded cultures or people interested in that?
Yeah. Actually, I just became an event host on the Austin Travel Enthusiasts group, and to kind of bring these activities to them, because right now, when it comes to Meetup, it's a great platform. Again, it's a horizontal platform, but when you go, it's more about discussing within your group your travel experiences, but this is about bringing that conversation to the business to lead that discussion, or the ambassador to lead that discussion, and using the environment to kind of, learn,
Thank you.
Yeah, sure, thank you.
Next up, we have Code Wizard.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jay. I'm the founder and CEO of Code Wizards HQ. I have a marketing and e-commerce background. I've been with Dell for 10 years. In 2013, I left Dell to take a hobby of mine to convert it into a real business. It's called indusladies.com. It's a social site for Indian women. It gets about 1.6 million unique visitors today. But it's still going strong, but has a pretty finite top line. So I'm actually kind of working on my next startup, which is solving my own problem here, which is teaching computer coding to kids. So a couple of years ago, I started to teach. I saw how technology is just all pervasive, and I wanted to teach my daughter to learn how to code. So I did the usual thing: Khan Academy, Code Academy, etc. But they really are. There is a lot of things that it doesn't work very well for teaching kids. So I decided to offer my own solution. So the best type of problem is just the problem that you solve for yourself. So what is Code Wizards HQ? It's an online coding school for kids to learn how to code. And I focus primarily on middle school students between the ages of 10 to 15. Now, how I am different from other solutions out there is that I'm a teacher-led model, which means it's a real virtual classroom. So kids log in at a very scheduled time every week. Like 5 to 6 p.m. on a Tuesday evening is coding class. 5 to 8 students get online, and the teacher gets online, and the classes happen virtually through a medium like GoToMeeting, right? And we teach real coding through a very engaging project-based curriculum. How do I make money? Pretty straightforward. Monthly fees. Parent pays me $149 a month for their daughter to learn how to code. This is hands down the most effective way for kids to learn and enjoy coding. The online self-paced programs don't have schedule. They're not very kid-friendly. There's a lot of reasons. Now, what is the traction that I have got so far? So I have paying students. So I have post revenue, which means somebody opens up their checkbook and then some money comes to my account every month. So that's good news. And I have, so in December, I opened up enrollment only once. I actually got 10 students. I did a very limited marketing to get 10 students to see whether the method works. So now after that, I have an open enrollment. So I focus on those 10 students to make sure that this model works. The product market fit is absolutely good. And so I have very strong retention. So I'm 4th month into the program. I haven't lost a single kid, right? So I have actually, iterate on the curriculum every week. So I have 2 classes, a Saturday class and a Sunday class. I teach Saturday and then improve on it and do Sunday, then improve on that the next week. So pretty strong retention. And then the second thing is I have contract from 2 local ISDs to offer my program as their approved after-school program across all their middle schools, so that I can actually just keep going as a very strong lead generation component to that. And I have my MVP platform is out, so which is I use my own custom platform to really teach kids, and it's based on I initially cobbled together a platform that I actually works, but then from there I kind of built out my own platform for that. And I have spent a lot of time building curriculum. So when you talk about curriculum for kids, people say, oh, there is something out there that you can really use. But actually that isn't the case, because when you really talk about teaching kids, the curriculum has to be written in a completely engaging way. It's not about, oh, let's just learn image tag today. No, let's build a stunning travel website. That's what keeps them engaged. So it's very project-based, so I had to spend a lot of time building a lot of curriculum, so I've been pretty far along. I think at some point this curriculum would probably be the secret sauce along with the platform. And then this, maybe since I have time, I might, so what's needed for success? Look at 1 minute. Okay, let me skip this. So what are you looking for? Good. That's my one slide. I thought, okay, I can skip it. So what I'm looking for a school director. So I have strong demand gen background. My CTO has technical background. I have the 2 main things covered, right? The other thing that I really looking for a school director, someone who can be responsible for quality delivery of curriculum to the students. Somebody who has got, the typical profile would be an educator who has been a principal or a vice principal in a school, who knows how to kind of recruit, train, and manage instructors, and also can know how to deliver it in a way, how to manage parents and teachers and make sure that they are getting value from the whole thing. And then we also need coding instructors. So if you have some background in HTML, CSS, and then if you can, if you're interested in teaching kids, it'll actually be an awesome opportunity for you. That's it?
Yeah.
Okay. Questions?
I got
That's all I had.
have you reached out to Maker Square to see if their students are actually want to become coding instructors? Because I mean, a lot of them finish and they don't get a job right away, so they kind of want to keep their technology going.
Yeah, that's a great point. I met the CEO of Maker Square at some point, and he mentioned the same thing. So I had to actually follow up with him on that one. So that's definitely on my card, because I find that more even the people who are applying for instructors in my current in my site now are alumni of Maker Square or Ryan Yard, etc. So it just feels like there is more interest there. I had actually been going after some, master's degree students, etc. But this seems to be a little bit more interesting interest there from that group. Yes, Ed.
Who are your two middle schools or school districts, and who's next after that?
Great question. Round Rock ISD and Georgetown ISD. Who's after that? Pflugerville. Just keep going, right? There's the sales call that I make. They're very engaging, because they definitely see the gap. They definitely see that the initial 1 hour of code is too basic. It is not enough for middle schoolers, and this program is just perfect.
So I'm going to speak as the mom of a middle schooler,
Yep.
13-year-old, 7th grader.
Love it.
I want to learn code.
Target market.
Yay.
Right.
Okay. I'm just going to discuss your pricing model.
Uh-huh.
Right? You're at the 149 range.
Yep.
Whether or not you know it, but you are also competing with my budget for gymnastics.
Absolutely.
And tennis lessons.
Absolutely.
And I can get 4 to 6 classes per month for around $60 to $75. So just to put that into your perspective on pricing
Right.
of where you're at 149
Right.
as a budget for middle class, Leander ISD family.
Right.
Okay, which we would love you in Leander ISD.
Absolutely. I did reach out to Leander ISD, but they don't have. Okay, that's a separate topic. So.
Just giving you some market perspective.
Absolutely. I do think 149 is on the little bit on the high end, right? Because Mathnace, so you said gymnasium, etc. Mathnasium charges $180, right? And they are kind of growing like crazy, right? So to some extent, price is an indication of value, right? Once you see the program, if you attend a couple of classes, you'll be sold. 149 is just amazing, right? Right? So it's kind of, because, so it's, so yeah, you're right, I'm competing, and to some extent.
Ask another question. You say that the program is geared towards it being engaging.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So you have some students who are wanting to learn to code because they want to create a game.
Yep.
They're like little gamer guys.
Yep.
And then there's other ones that are wanting to code because they want to make apps.
Yep.
And they're very different. Are you looking for are you doing an entire curriculum to sort of segment out these different categories, or are you focused on there is one to start with?
So at some point I had to version that out, right? So currently I have it as a structured, a 3-year program. You just stay with us for this thing, right? So, you just start with HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and WordPress, and Bootstrap, and you just keep going, right? So I'm in the early phase, right? At some point people want to version out. At some point people want to accelerate, right? Currently mine is a 1 hour a week model. Some kids might say, I want to do 3 days a week, right? So those versioning have to happen at some point. But currently I'm in the early stage, right? I do one step at a time kind of thing.
Thank you.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Last question.
Yeah, sure.
Going off of hers,
Mhm.
what happens when the parents want the child to code, but the child doesn't know, or doesn't know what coding is, or wants to do that less than tennis?
Gotcha. So I have 2 cell jobs to do. The first cell job I got to do is the parent, saying that, okay, coding is arithmetic for the future, right? So getting the kid to the first class I had to sell the parent. And then from there to get the kid to stick with him, that's a cell job I got to do for the student. So one of the reasons why I did this, I have an open enrollment, was because I know I can do the first cell job, because there is demand out there for this, right? I can get parents to pay. They really want the best job that they can do in bringing up their kids. So that relatively easy, right? But keeping the kids engaged, can I do that month after month after month? after the shiny thing of coding is, just after the couple of classes, that's what I wanted to prove. And that's why I actually stopped just had 10 students, right? And now the fact that I haven't lost any single student, and if they miss any, so to your question, let me just, what you're saying is mostly what happens, which is parents want to code, the kids don't want to code, right? Or don't know the value of it. So I look at it as a two-phase thing. Get the parent to sign up, and after that, sell the student to keep them engaged. That's kind of how the thing works.
Cool, thank you. Last up is Zapling and Dan.
Yes, it is sitting right here. Let me just make sure it'll click with the PDF. You can give it a click and see if it'll go.
It's on. Okay. Yep. Without this on, can everybody in the back hear me okay? All right. Can you all hear me? If I'm talking? Sorry if I have my back to you a little bit. All right, I'm going to go without this. Hi, my name is Danny Pernick. I am front-end designer for Zaplings. We've been working on this for 4+ years. How many of you, this is not my first Co-Founders Wanted rodeo, how many of you have seen me present here or seen me in person or talked to me? A couple, yeah? Okay, great. So mostly new audience, that's good. So a less than agile 4 years in review. That is 4 years spent in less than agile fashion, not a review that is going to be, it's going to be a very agile review because I have 4 minutes to cover 4 years. So this shirt that I'm wearing, we just got printed, I'm very proud of. If we had printed these 2 months ago, this shirt would not say just connect, it would say connect to create. And so we had been focused for a long time on connecting creators, whether that was art, music, business, nonprofit, and bringing these different creative worlds together. Now, we have shifted gears a little bit, and I'll get into why. The problem that we felt and that we saw remains the same, and that's that we feel alone culturally. People will say, oh, we are as connected as we've ever been, and I'll say, I don't believe that. We are networked, we're not connected. I don't see those two things as the same. If we feel disconnected, then that's what really matters. This means, you can say this in different ways. We feel isolated, we can't find the people we want to find, which I know, given the fact that we're all here right now, we all share that pain. And so this is the problem that we want to alleviate. This whole project started 5 years ago, and we've always believed in every single person's ability to create something new. And so because of that, we envision this world of creators connecting. The problem that we realize is that while we believe in everyone's ability to create something, not everyone believes in themselves. And there's this quote from Henry Ford that I really love: whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And so we have a lot of people who have a ton of potential that we're not tapping into. And if the first thing they see on our website is, what do you want to create? They're going to reject that and say, that's not me. And so this world of connected creators that we envision is no longer possible. And we've lost half our audience, our potential audience. And so we said, well, you know what, we've always been about connecting, and we can still alleviate this pain. And why do we have to limit it to just people who see themselves as creators? Why don't we try a different starting point? We still believe in a world of connected creators where everyone can be connecting and creating. But the starting point changes. We say, well, why don't we connect people for whatever reason they want? And so Zaplings, we now have a landing page that we're proud of for the first time in 5 years, which is amazing, such a relief. And these are some of the reasons that we have on the page. You see that you can add your own as well. And this is all we need actually to get started and get you signed up. We want to know what your missions are, what your reasons for meeting and connecting are. And then we roll this out one mission at a time. So, a lot of people, I see someone in the room that I remember being told maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and I think you were here for it, that we were trying to boil a very beautiful ocean and trying to do way too much and try to, get everyone on board. Yes, we are. We are trying to bring everyone into this, and we think it is absolutely possible. The key here is that, basically what's happening is this is almost a survey. So we see who is interested in what reasons for meeting. The most popular reason is the one we start with. So if we reach our threshold of 500 to 1,000 people who have selected a single reason for meeting, then we invite those 1,000 people to the platform where you see a list of a community that is active right now online of people who want to do the same thing you want to do. And so you can meet you can meet people at any moment who have your mission. And so then after that first mission, when we reach the threshold with the second mission, we bring these people into. So there's always an active conversation going on. And so we are dealing with one niche at a time, as opposed to trying to communicate everybody at once. This is what we have. I'm front-end design. My co-founder is the CEO. He has run a business before. We have discussions with the web agency to build the MVP as well as a budget to build it, and we're close on that. We have persistence and we have patience, which is probably most important because there was something that didn't quite feel right in the first 4 years of what we were doing. I didn't, there was something incongruent about our message and our purpose and where we were heading. And if you don't feel it, don't do it, because you're going to end up with a business that's limited or something that you don't actually want to be doing. So stay patient and let the business show you what it wants to be. And this is what we're looking for. Your reasons to meet in our database. This is how we grow. This is how we get to the next level, how we actually start connecting people. Web and mobile development. The agency we're talking with is interested in actually working with us and having me sit with them and actually work alongside them, and they're interested in also having like a junior developer as well in that. And then connectors. You can be a gold connector on Zaplings. It means you're in the top percent. And basically, if you are a gold connector, then we will connect you to all the other gold connectors all over the world and potentially reduce a degree of separation around the world. And this is me. Thank you. And
questions?
It sounds like you're pitching Meetup.
It is Meetup. It is a global Meetup. So you can see people, you can chat or video chat at any moment. And it'll become local as we get big enough to do so.
Is there any revenue model, like how are you guys going to make money?
Thank you.
Advertisement?
I'm glad somebody asked. How am I going to make money? So what we are going to do is each of these missions, reasons for meeting, we still have this idea of moving people to helping them create. And so you're going to be able to share projects on Zaplings, and each project is going to be you're able to assign up to 3 missions. So if you want to start a business, that's that goes part of your project. If you want to protect nature, that's one of your missions. And so we have this thing that basically would be combining crowdfunding. It's a new crowdfunding model combined with like an Upwork, Odesk type of freelancer service. So people can fund a mission, which basically is funding a project. The project breaks down into specific actions, and those actions can be completed by freelancers who are then paid by the funding.
So that part is not done yet?
No. This page is all it's done yet.
How many members do you have?
This page went up the day before the startup crawl. So we have about 20 people, 30 people. And so what that means is if you are interested in being a connector on Zaplings, this is the time to do it. And you can get a head start on anyone else. And also, if anyone is a connector and sees themselves this way, I may have a t-shirt for you if you come see me later.
Any more questions? In the back? No? Cool.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I think I have one last thing, if I can find the mouse. That one. Yeah. Okay, thanks again to our sponsors. By the way, you guys all have those little red those dots on your name tags. And Rudy pointed that out, asking the question earlier, who's looking for co-founders and who has money. So the green one are investors, red is talent developers, blue entrepreneur, yellow media. We have the space, it's 8:37, we have 20 more minutes. We have a raffle to give away, and this guy's gonna pick it, because he's right here in front of me.
Last chance. Anyone? Everybody good?
Who do we have? Eric Thompson.
All
Hey, there you go. See them at the front table, they'll take care of you. Help clean up your trash for me, please. And that's the end of the meeting. I'm gonna turn on some music.
Maybe one day you'll understand why everything is just
Nice meeting you. Nice to meet you. Oh, thank you. It's a different model, you know? Yeah, very different. Are you still doing anything else? Like, are you still managing any content? Just kidding. I'm not looking for anything. I just have to do something that makes work. Yeah, what you execute. Yeah. We have one portfolio company out of our fund. I was just wondering because it felt like the idea to yeah, like right now. Well, it's like they're syndicating some of the deals. The reason over here, and then all of a sudden it's a conflict. I want to enable challenge development for the year. Not just really check, right? You know, and now the investments at $1 million. Right. That was kind of more of a curiosity. We are good, yeah. So I hope not take much of the whatever it is. Right? That's also whatever they know. Okay, so maybe we can change this. I was wondering if maybe and likewise, one of the Yes, Dr. West, you said you'll have their own incubators, and then they transition to trends.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we should talk about that. We've got some concepts on that.
Okay. Thank you.
Hi, Harris. Nice to meet you. You bet.
I'll send you this information so you have it.
Yeah.
How's that for them? No, no, we've updated.
Yeah, what'd you think? County good? Yeah, awesome. Oh, thanks for coming out. Okay, I'm sorry. CPC money depends on the business and what's your unique proposition.
I haven't had a chance to fully about the retail it's not like, hey, here's this
the IP concept is strong enough.
so that'll be
sometimes different law firms are willing to come
I'm gonna figure out
money and law, right? It really depends on the right? And if it's, artificial intelligence or learning, what area, there's so many areas that are untapped, right? It's wide open. So, a lot of people are excited, but it's got to happen.
We're seeing an opportunity here with things we're interested in getting our system work. We need to raise money to hire technical teams and create features to make it position and make it.
Well, so do you have an MP? Yeah, now? Okay, thank you. So if you can quantify sort of the broader opportunity around it, if it's exciting enough, then put something together and shoot it up. We'll get it feedback. Not enough.
That was the first thing that came to mind.
Hey, Luis, nice to meet you as well.
I am friends. I get your emails here and then I'm in Texas 6.
Oh, hey, all right.
I also wanted to be part of the venture fest, but didn't make the cut.
Unfortunately.
They're tough. Tough interview, fun. Tough interview. You get to meet a lot of the second years.
Yeah. It's a good program, and it's and a lot of schools have similar programs in one way or another. Yeah.
Thank you very much for this very nice
Thank you.
Really? Friends and I found a show next month. We would like to be invited.
Yeah.
To be our guest of honor as well.
Okay. Okay.
Really kind of meet people
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, it's been very fascinating and for us. So one of the things that recently happened is the Chinese consulate retained us. They're bringing 150 Chinese investors for the first ever China-U.S. private equity summit. And it's going to happen in Houston in May. So they retained us on behalf of the Chinese investors that are coming to find sort of a, set of examples of companies that could be potential, investment, acquisition, tech transfer, all the above. Yeah. So they're paying us to provide the company to do a presentation, no. But if they're investors and they want to see stuff, yeah. Yeah, sure. They were telling us what they do. We'll look at it, but it's a busy time. But we're happy to take whatever you want to propose.
We can send you some material just to look at it for the first time. Great collaboration. Texas officials, fitness business,
we tend to be much less political and much more business centric. And we're working with global companies, so we don't have an access problem. But we're happy to visit, we're happy to learn. See what we can do.
Thank you very much. It was great meeting you.
Nice to meet you.
So I took the tag off from I sent you an email tonight. Just to introduce you to a fellow that I've worked with.
Okay.
He does early stage startup teams, VC.
Okay.
All seats. It's a very active business team. He sees a lot of very big guys. I thought that maybe you just wanted to
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
I think you can sit with a lot of very interesting.
Yeah.
I just want to let you know.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate it.
And the fact that I didn't know about your organization.
Well, we still kind of in stealth mode.
I've never been to, I don't think I've ever been to one. I got here by accident.
Oh, wow. Meant to be. And so are you in office?
Yes.
And what all are you involved with?
I do mostly work as an expert in software.
Okay, okay.
My number one is I own startup information. We just got a vision
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, whenever you're ready, just tell them to put it together. Oh my God. Yeah, mine is my wife was Vanderbilt, my daughter was Vanderbilt. My son went out to the West Coast to play some baseball.
My number two son is a baseball player.
Oh, is that right?
He decided to go to SC. So, very nice to meet you.
Yeah, likewise. Thank
Try to
you.
get in touch with you. Thanks.
All right. Thanks. Hey, Michael. Nice to meet you. Okay. No worries. Okay. Yep. Oh, nice.
Okay. Okay. We don't do consulting for companies, but we'll look at what you're doing and we'll tell you where we think your strengths and weaknesses are. And then we'll try to point you in a direction to an accelerator, incubator, or a mentor, or an exponential investor, and see if that helps you out. And then you can come back, right? We believe in a career-long relationship, all right? Because, you know, maybe this company will be awesome, but if it is, you'll do 2 or 3 more, right? So we think paying it forward sort of helps build that kind of culture, right? Companies like that, yes, correct. Yeah. There we go. Awesome. So go to the website. You can submit online. Really super easy, and then you can just follow up. Usually it's about a 2 to 3 week cycle from the time to get the information, put it in the system, get somebody up to speed, and then go through the program. And then we'll have a feedback loop after that. Okay? Yeah, you bet. Yeah. Oh, awesome. Okay. Yeah.
I just wanted to say
You know, it's different. What we're excited about is the model and the opportunity. And we're going to have basically we know we're doing it, right? It's going to have like doing a hackathon competition. It's great marketing. But the fact that it usually doesn't yield, it's not going to be the same. Make build $100 million business, right? They may have a template. So there's and the other thing is I think having competition because there's so many companies that I don't actually know and it's becoming harder and harder. I feel like there's a ton of stuff going on. I feel like it's a very small fish. Yeah. I really believe in this startup competition as it relates to enterprise. There are alternative ways to have fun to start to achieve your enterprise goals of finding and we just want to find it. Okay. Yeah. Live to us is not a big Oh, thanks. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Hey, Larry. Nice. Great. Nice to meet you.
So I was kind of wondering, I've got here.
Okay.
Basically, it's based on search out to
Go look up reactionality.
So something
It's an awesome company. Right? Check out what they do.
I've been in contact with Russ.
No, I'll leave a surprise.
Right.
It'll be